3. I think we'll call this Here Comes the Judge. That sounds like a good title for a video about judging people. I say bring it on. Bring on the judgment. Now, when I grew up, and pretty much everyone prior to probably 15 years ago were brought up with the idea that sticks and stones will break your bones, and they will. They can. But words will never hurt you. Except now they do. When did this happen? I am a strong believer that we choose to be offended, and we choose to let things bother us, words bother us. When someone punches you in the head, you don't really have a choice of whether to be hurt or feel pain. But you do have it when it comes to words. And there's some people out there saying, no, there's certain words and certain occasions where someone might say something that really is offensive, and you cannot help but being offended. Okay, I'll concede that if it's only certain things. If someone is dishonorable or trying to make you dishonor you by calling out your mother or something, well, that goes back a long time. Say you don't talk about someone's mother or whatever, and those be fighting words. Okay, get that. I understand that. If someone calls you a derogatory name that is not just, stupid epithet, but something that's, literally below the belt, whatever, you might want to stand up for yourself. Okay. But we've gone way beyond that. Way, way, way beyond that. There was a time when Americans would sit there and take stuff because they were strong enough to take it. Mentally, emotionally, whatever. Someone would say, hey, that's their right to say it. They're fools for saying it. They're dead wrong for saying it. I don't agree with it. And it's not going to change my life one iota. I'm strong enough to withstand it. Not anymore. We're actually not just weaker in this way. We're actually being taught in schools to be weaker in this way. And to promote this this inability to withstand words, we've created an entire new lexicon with regard to being offended. Words like microaggression and safe space, and on and on and on. Now you literally can't look at somebody cross-eyed without them being offended. Because it's a microaggression, apparently. The rule was, as I said in a previous video, your right to swing your fist ends at my face. As long as you're not physically hurting me, touching me, stopping me from going where I want to go, as long as your rights aren't stepping on my rights, you can do anything you want. But all of a sudden, words are apparently stepping on someone's rights. Because why else would you have the need to retaliate against words, not just with more words, but physically? People are taught to fight, physically harm other people if they say the wrong thing. This is actually being promoted in some parts of our country, in schools, in urban areas, under certain circumstances. What happened to sticks and stones are the only thing that break my bones. What happened to words can't hurt me? I think you choose to be offended. I think it's choice. If someone says, you're fat, you're ugly, you're this, you're that, it's like, it's an opinion. The opinion doesn't make it right. It's just an opinion. If I think I'm fat or ugly, yeah, okay, I already knew that. I need to work on that perhaps, but that's between me and myself. You telling me that isn't necessarily making me more fat or more ugly. It's not necessarily making me um, dislike myself less. Just because I'm self aware of something doesn't mean I'm stupid enough to think that nobody else is aware of that same fact. So you cannot hurt me. You cannot make it worse. You cannot goad me into doing or thinking something I don't want to do. But now they can, and they actually promote it. Why? More victims. It's cottage industry, as I mentioned before, creating victims. They've made everything a problem. If you even use the wrong words, you can be considered a racist, even if you didn't use racist words that were considered racist 10, 15 years ago. Now they got whole new subcategories of racism, misogyny, Islamophobia, blah, blah, blah. All the categories that they're pet causes that cause people to suddenly shrivel up and want to die because you actually went there, or went down that road with your words. Things you're no longer allowed to say in certain company. And everything is racist, for instance. If everything's racist, then nothing is racist. If everyone is Hitler, then no one is Hitler. You guys, the liberals so overshoot the mark. The progressives go so far all the time. They overreach so often that it becomes meaningless. I would not allow somebody to alter my life to such a degree with their words that I would end up shriveling up in a ball or doing really anything to give validation to what they think. In fact, my mindset is to fight back mentally, if not physically. I don't mean I'm going to go punch them for saying it. I mean, there's not going to be a physical reaction. Now, I say that knowing that I do take things personal. As a person, I know I take things personally sometimes. And so I have to guard against it. But I can tell you categorically, no one's ever said anything that made me change my mind. I instantly rebel against people's trying to convince me with words that I'm wrong. They got to prove it. They got to say something with thought behind it, not just anger. They got to say things that have some merit, some reason, some logic behind it. Otherwise, I won't consider it. It's just hyperbole. It's rhetoric. It's nonsense. And that's what most people are doing. It's just nonsense. Racism itself, real racism, is nonsense, of course. So I think of it the other way. If someone is dumb enough to believe that they're superior because they're a different color than somebody else, and notice I'm not saying white versus black. Racism goes in every direction. Black against brown, brown against red, yellow against purple. I mean, all colors, all races can be racist against others and historically have been. But if you're dumb enough to think that because you're a color of one skin color or from one part of the world or from one, ethnicity, and you're somehow superior to another person for simply being that ethnicity, you're an idiot. And so why give an idiot any time? Why give them the power? Why even call them a racist and give them the satisfaction that they got to you? These people should just be marginalized, ignored. I don't mean ignored like it's okay. No, they should be called a racist if they truly are, but not given any power. You give them power when you spend all this time and energy letting it bother you. It is clear there is no superiority between one ethnicity, one race than another. It's as obvious today as it should have been thousands of years ago. But nothing more could be more obvious in today's culture. So why would you let it bother you? And yet we got all these victims spending all this time and money and energy fighting against something that is categorically stupid. Why? Why waste your time? Racism is something to be pounced on, ignored, gone around, gone over, gone through. Racism is simply an idea that cannot stop anybody from doing anything. I mean, think about it. What can a racist's words do to stop somebody? What is it about the words of a racist, the thoughts of a racist, the beliefs of a racist that can stop the object of that racism from doing whatever he or she wanted to do? Nothing. In this country, legally, there's no longer anything. Now, if they get physical, that's a different thing. But I'm talking about words, not sticks and stones. If more people treated true racism, for instance, and there's a lot of other isms we could talk about, for the crap and garbage that it was, and just lived their lives as they would live as if there was nobody barking this vile crap out into the world in the first place, they'd be so much happier. But no, liberals convinced a lot of people, and a lot of them of themselves are liberals already, that the way to handle this thing is to mire in the muck and the misery of the racism itself, to make a big to-do out of it, to create whole cottage industries in defense against racism, and to use that as a weapon against all the other stuff they don't agree with, and all the other people they don't like, and all the other ideas and beliefs that they find offensive. So, we're oversensitive about stuff we have no business even giving any credence to. We're completely numb to the cultural misbehavior, the alternative lifestyles we've allowed to become mainstream, the vulgarity and the lowbrow mentality and entitlement of our culture to roam free without comment. We've become completely numb to everything we used to fight against and become oversensitive to everything we knew to be stupid and ridiculous. It's all on its head, folks. It's bass-ackwards, it's upside down, and it's wrong. And the only way we're going to fix this kind of stuff is to fight back. Don't just let the politicians do it. Don't just let the talking heads on alternative news do it. You do it. There's a time and place for everything. If some lady wants to walk around in public with a pink, Planned Parenthood shirt on, that's her right to do it. But she does it knowing, I say she, person does it knowing full well that in equal amounts that she's going to shove that Planned Parenthood t-shirt in everyone's face in public, as is her right, she should expect that there are going to be people who are going to argue against that and call her out for having done so in public. And that would be their right. And if that person wearing the Planned Parenthood t-shirt, for instance, has a problem with people complaining about her t-shirt, then she completely misses the point. And she completely doesn't get it. And the problem is, too many of these people walk around in their pink Planned Parenthood t-shirts with nobody saying nothing. Yet these same people complain about gun ownership and how many kids it kills, and complain about the military and how much collateral damage to innocent women and children in war zones they kill. Meanwhile, the organization on her t-shirt kills more people than any of those combined. They just don't get it. They need to get it, folks. People like that who agree with companies who promote the ritual infanticide or even pre-infanticide, ritual killing of unborn children should be shamed out of existence. They should be judged for the monsters that they are. And if they're stupid enough and ignorant enough to think that Planned Parenthood is just a place to get a pap smear, they're idiots. Most Planned Parenthoods don't provide that service anyway. They farm it out. They are 100% responsible for the advocation, if not the actual performing of abortions. The rest of it is just window dressing. And your right to judge them as an American for what they are, and your right to say anything about anything that you disagree with, was given to you by the patriots who loved their country enough to wear its uniform and stand a post and protect its freedoms. If anyone tells me that someone other than a person in the military is more patriotic, or tells you that, you tell them otherwise. And you tell them that you're in their face because those guys in the uniform protected that right. Here comes the judging. Have a good one, guys. See you on the next one.